Welcome to Get Moving TV. I'm Dr. Chris Landon and I serve as your host. I've been doing the show for almost 10 years. In Ventura, there's just an unknowingly high number of jewels that are hidden in our hills and throughout the county. We have the beautiful ocean, we've got the bicycle path, we have Ojai and the Pink Moment. But so many of those hidden jewels are people. And one of those jewels is with me today, Marie, the photographer there. That's not your last name, but...
Actually, my name is Marie Gregorio Oviedo, but no one remembers that. So my clients, the ones that, put Marie the photographer.
Yeah. It's all one word. So I know you're nervous to be here. Yes,
I am, because you know that I love being behind the camera, and you tricked me into being in front. So
yes. Well, I see. Some people carry teddy bears with them. Is there anything? Do you have anything? Oh, I see.
Yes, I'm a Canon girl, and it's very funny that I don't always feel articulate, and so whenever I, as like right now, I'll always have, when I have my camera, it changes. It changes because I see you as a rectangle instead of worrying about my words. And so, for example, I love it. It gives me not a power. It's not power. It gives me the confidence, and I can actually approach people that I don't know and make them kiss. Yeah. And not just let's say a couple that I'm hiring that hired me, but just going to strangers, and actually they will do it for me. And a story that I like to tell about my camera is, like, to me it's important to always have permission, right? So I'll have my backstage pass, but as a game to myself, I like to actually hide my pass and see how far I can actually go. Sometimes it's a little bit of flirting, but a lot of it's the authority that you have with the camera. And so I love always going back when I get to the last door and I get in. I know I'm in.
You've got it all. So with a camera, how else do you use it? So you've got it for power, you have it for security. It's always in your hand, and
that's a side thing. Me, it's more that for some reason it's my duty to document this. And so it's not my picture and it's not yours, but it's actually for your kids' kids. You know what I mean? So when you're this mean old man, your grandkids can say, "Wow, Grandpa, you were hot back then." So that's, and it's forever. It's when we're gone. To me, it's my duty that I have to document that.
So you've worked on capturing this. So of course you went to film school, and really because you have extraordinary skills, as our viewers are going to see as we go through the program.
Actually, I'm self-taught. I learned from taking pictures of my daughter. She was my inspiration. So, when they put up the pictures of some of my work, you'll see my favorite picture of her, which is she's wearing a flamenco dress and she looks so sweet. It's in sepia. And then the opposite shot is a shot where she's evil, and that's the real her. I call her my demon child. Yes. But no, to me it's whatever. To me, when I take pictures, as long as I have full batteries and multiple cards, then whatever happens, happens. To me, that's what's going to happen. So to me, it's all about the trust that I build with somebody. So for example, I'm doing a wedding. I want to make sure, I love to do engagement shots first, because that way they get to know my work. And when I meet with the couple, I want the woman wants the pictures, right? And the man is like, "Okay, honey, I'll do it for you," right? But to me, it's so important to get him involved. So I'll ask him questions like, "Do you have a tattoo? Do you play the guitar? Do you have a motorcycle?" And all of a sudden, it's their shot. It's not her shot, it's their shot. And so the attitude changes. And to me, it's so important to have that relationship. So like when I do parties, I only have 5 seconds, for each couple. So, you find something about them that you admire and you say it, and it has to be sincere. I'm not going to fake anything. It has to be sincere. And so I'm always amazed. I'll say, "Go cheek to cheek." And then they kind of get that, the apples of their cheeks start getting, how do you say, you can see the love, right, between the two. Or you see the slap. No, just kidding. But I want them close, right? And I laugh when they actually kiss, because I'll tell them, "Okay, now kiss." And like all your doctor friends, they have no idea who I am, and all of a sudden I tell them to kiss, and they do. So I'm actually amazed. But at the same time, I expect them to. But then when you put me in front of the camera, then that's a totally different story.
Well, and so in so many just random pictures that are taken. I mean, I have whatever 3 or 4 families worth of bins and bins of baptisms, weddings, cousins I never knew, and if you don't have that person next to you to explain it, and you capture things in a different way. It's not just having been at the event. So Morgan was your inspiration. You were able to catch her demonhood,
and she already knows that when I point the camera at her, that I don't want her to smile for me. I want exactly what she gives to me. So when you see my business card, you see the girl with attitude. She knew as soon as I pointed to her, she totally ignored me. So she knows exactly what I want. So one of my favorite things to do as musicians, because it's the relationship between the instrument and them, and then also the feedback from the audience. But to me, I love doing musicians because they're not paying attention to me, right? And they're so into their moment, and those are the shots that I want. I want that sweet note. I want the shot. I do love the kisses, and those are posed. 'Cause one thing I always remembered is that I remember seeing ads, seeing movie ads, and you would see the beautiful actors in these ads. And to me, my goal is to make the everyday person an ad. So that's why when I do pictures, that's my goal. I want to see the romance. I want to see all the little. Gosh, I want to touch you. Just kidding. To me, it's all about the touch. And I want to capture that, and so or the lack of. When they're playing hard to get. So I want all that. I want the actual nose to nose, but then I also want,
Well, this sounds a little different from just pointing your iPhone in a selfie.
Remember I said that the time that I want to spend with my clients, it's a 2-dimensional, object, right? A picture. But to me, the more I know about it, the more real it gets, and it gets rounder. So like I said, if I know that they play the guitar, so you don't hear the guitar, but you see the flirting of the husband and the wife while he's serenading her, or she's touching him. So to me, it's all about. Sometimes I forget the composition. I mean, that's so automatic to have that composition, right? But I'm still looking for that one extra moment that makes it special. And it's like I said, when you see them looking at each other. So.
Well, and then children are.
They're very real. When they're pouting, when they're not in the mood, it doesn't matter. I want that. If they're mad at me, if they're mad because they have to smile for me, I want that. I want the anger. I want the pouting. I want the. Because it's so easy to smile. When I worked at Kinderphoto when I was 16, my first job, you have the child right here. You just make them laugh at a puppet and you move out of the way, right? And that's it. To me, I want when the mom looks at the baby, and you see the love. That's what I want. I don't want the fake smile, or not even fake. It's real for that moment.
The posed smile. Well, how about, and then you this being Ventura County, we have Native American Indians, and I know you've done some work around the Navajo. Yeah.
Well, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. The reason why I wanted to put that picture up, so it's a Navajo code talker. It's Teddy Draper, Senior. He's one of the last code talkers. The reason why I bring that picture is, I was doing photos. I was doing a cast party, and so you're working with some of the Native American actors, and it was interesting because we were at a booth at Indian Market in Santa Fe, right? And it was so interesting because they had their fans coming, they're signing autographs, and so I would tease them, and I'm not starstruck. To me, it's not a title. I mean, they're good at what they do, but like with you, I'm not starstruck, even though I should be bowing in front of you. The title doesn't matter. The fact that they're an awesome actor or they're a celebrity, that doesn't impress me. The only time I've ever felt starstruck was at the Indian market. And so here I am teasing the actors that their fans are coming. And I finally pay attention to my surroundings, and I realize across catty corner is an actual Navajo code talker. And he's in his booth signing autographs. And that's when my stomach turned, because this is the real hero, right? So they said, well, just go take pictures. And to me, I didn't want to be paparazzi. So I actually asked Ferlin Clark, who was one of the managers for one of the actors, and he's also the president of the Dignity College. I wanted the formal introduction, because this was more my stomach was turning, right? So he introduced me, and then they were very, cordial. They wanted to pose with me, right? I mean, for me, but I didn't want that. I just wanted the real them. So I said, just go ahead, keep on signing your autographs. And so one of them, Teddy Draper, the picture you'll be seeing, he had finished his last autograph, and he took up a moment, and he went like this, and it was perfect. I want the real them. I don't want the smiles are perfect, but everyone gets those smiles, especially with iPhones. I want what's them. That's harder to get.
Well, so how do you approach weddings differently? I mean, you've got the stock shot. Oh, there's the groom, there's the bride. Oh,
it's not like that.
Well, I know. It's not with you. No, my favorite one is the bride and groom and the whole party running, screaming, and someone puts a Tyrannosaurus Rex chasing him in the back.
Oh, that wasn't mine. That was
I know that's not yours. I know, but there's so many. You look at wedding photos and you go, well, it's over now.
So like the same thing, because we did the engagement shots, they trust me, and so that they trust me to do other, okay, I have to say, there's one of my favorite shots. They flew me to the Bahamas, which I love. I love destination weddings. They flew me to the Bahamas, and I had told them to bring their veil, the veil that they use for the bachelorette party. So of course the veil that they had for the actual ceremony, which the aunt made, was special, right? So the one we used at the beach was the one that was the bachelorette one, and it was a beautiful long one, right? And so I had her in the water. We were doing pictures. He was kissing her behind the veil. But my favorite shot was because I would ask him, can you dip her? And so he would dip her, right? And then so I said, so my favorite shot, which you'll be seeing, is when she dipped him. I said, can you handle him? She goes, yes, and she dipped him. And I forgot all the other shots. This was the money shot. This was her in her green bikini and her long veil, and she dipped him. So that's my favorite shot, one of my favorite shots. So, and then, I love weddings. Weddings I never worry about, because I take pictures that I wish that I have. You know what I mean? I loved my photographer, but because I got married in Texas, I don't remember a lot of my husband's family, right? Because she was focused on us, which I loved. But so I always get pictures of everybody close, like I did at your party. I want the cheek to cheek, so all the people in the pictures, everybody that was at the wedding, because it goes so fast that I want the bride to know who was there. So that's one thing I focus on when I do weddings, is I know that they're busy with everything else.
Yeah.
So.
Well, again, baptisms, weddings, cousins I never knew. You really want that feeling that they had at that wedding, not just a lineup of bridesmaids in their organdy dresses. I don't know where that color comes from. But one of the things that impresses me the most, and we've talked about this before, is it's not just the weddings, but it's also funerals. So tell me about how because there's a time of emotion and time that you want to capture.
I know it might seem morbid to take pictures at a funeral, but because you're, as the grieving person, you're so lost, you forget who's there. You forget the traditional things. For example, when it's the military wedding, the folding of the flag, the playing of the taps, and it's so beautiful. I remember when I focused on the playing of the taps, it just happened that a train went past, and it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful to see that, and then the folding of the flag is so wow, But the part that really gets me is when they're actually presenting. And so you'll see a series of shots. the soldier is presenting the flag to the wife, and she can't take it. It was hard for her to take it, and I'm crying in the lens. It's one of those things where, but I still have to go. I still have to take it, even though I can't see anything anymore, right? And it was one of those things where, as soon as she touched it, she had to accept that he's gone, right? So that was one of those moments where, that's why when you have that series of shots, because it's, she's crying, then she has to get it. And so, to me, those are things you have to capture, because it goes so fast, and you want when everyone's passing by, either putting flowers or putting dirt on the coffin, those are important. I mean, then you know who was there, so.
Captured mortality.
And then the irony, of course, is these are people that haven't seen each other in forever, and then you end up rekindling relationships that had passed because of fights or whatever. But the death is actually what keeps them together. So, a reunion of time, yeah.
Well, Marie, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your heart with us. Ventura, we're going to be right back. Welcome back, Ventura. I'm here with digital multimedia instructor Terry Weiser. Terry, you've been a product of Ventura, well, actually Port Hueneme, for a little while. You grew up here. You were born at St. John's Hospital. How long have you been in this system? Starting, I think, in the printing shop. Tell us about your journey.
Is this one of those shows where people come out and surprise me from my past life? Because
Yes.
if this is one of those shows, I don't want to be here.
And here they come. Yes.
Here they come. Hi.
Ed Sullivan's coming.
Yes, I've been with the Ventura Unified School District about 37 years. I started as a meager printing press operator, and learned how to repair the computers that did the typesetting for the output that we did in the school district print shop. And as soon as word got out that there was a guy in the print shop that could fix computers, I became very popular. Received those phone calls that would say, "Hey Terry, why don't you come over for a barbecue tonight?" Awkward pause, and bring your toolkit with you. So the school district kind of invested in me, got me trained to repair the computers, and eventually they needed somebody to network the computers. So they sent me to school. I became Novell Network certified, did that for a few years as the computer repairman out of the print shop. And then from computer repair, got my teaching credential and made my way to adult ed, where I taught networking and eventually began a multimedia program with the director that was Barry Tronset at the time. I think you know Barry.
Yes. Well, Ventura Adult Community Education it's not just basket weaving here. And that's one of the, again, jewels, we've talked about Marie, is Terry Weiser, because I have seen you for the last 10 years sit down with every student, and it runs fresh every time. You feel the enthusiasm. I can't help but admire. I've never seen you have a bad day. And the materials seems fresh every time. But the other thing that seems to happen is Adobe always comes out with that next generation. There's always, and they change it enough where you have to relearn it. How do you relearn things? Why do they change it, I guess, is the other question.
I learned a long time ago, if you can make your work your play, it doesn't feel like work. And I know you're in a similar situation, because I too admire you. I don't think you sleep, because I get those texts from you at 4 o'clock asking a question about a show or a guest. So, and then I see all the wonderful things that you do for the community. So I too am inspired by you. But I truly enjoy what I do. It's a vocational school. Our students pay a small tuition to come to school and learn graphic arts and video editing. I do this in my spare time. So in addition to teaching graphics, I run a small production company that provides cinema pre-shows for about 4,500 motion picture screens across the country. So I literally live, breathe, and eat computer graphics and video. And a lot of times when I'm working with a student or putting together a project, it's literally my ego showing off, and I'm getting paid handsomely to do that. So who wouldn't want an occupation like that?
Well, I know one of the things that we were talking about this, the tuition, there's tuition assistance here. And you graduate, what happens to the graduates? I mean, I see so many of these programs, oh, you're going to learn all about marketing. The job you get at the end is selling, folding t-shirts at Old Navy, and that's what you got for your marketing degree, is a guaranteed job there. So where do your kids go once they're educated by Terry?
Well, Ventura Adult and Continuing Education is a vocational school run under the auspices of Ventura Unified School District, and Teresa Johnson is our director. And basically, we're full service, whether they want to do computer repair, whether they want to do networking, our multimedia and graphics course, graphics applications. We have a medical front and back office. We have a CAD program. There's a litany of vocations that you can come to school and learn. We have financial aid, which is very difficult to get nowadays. You have to jump through a lot of hoops and become what's called COE certified. And our school goes to great lengths to keep the federal government happy so that we can make those loans, those tuition loans, and in many cases, scholarships available for our students to get here. My students, I like to think if there's a job locally in Ventura County, there's probably a VACE graduate in that position. We've placed them with Time Warner, with Cox Communications, with Lynda.com. Many mom and pop small post-production houses and video editing companies hire our graduates. Caps TV, the local public access station that this show is projected on, also has quite a few of our graduates. So we have the instructors that are passionate about what they teach. We have the staff that can provide job assistance. We offer workshops and how to write a resume, how to present yourself when you do job applications and job interviews. We literally take you start to finish and see to it that we can get you employed. And we have a very high placement rate in our program.
Well, one of the things you and I have done is, was talking to you, oh, I teach. Have you ever left the country? No. So we took a little trip down to Peru. And what's always impressed me is your editing skills, and you pass as much of that on, but the way we were just talking to Marie, just how she captures the emotions. I've seen your heart taken by a little Peruvian girl to the point where I think your fiance should be jealous.
Yeah, I believe her name was Daisy, and yeah, we saw her in the Pueblo, which was just the worst place you would want to be. Children were playing in piles of garbage and dogs were running around, and I mean, very primitive living conditions, but the children were, as a pediatrician, again, I respect what you do, the children were beautiful and just pure and innocent hearts. And yeah, I had never been out of the country until you whisked me away. Now, you did leave me in an airport for half a day because I had missed a plane flight, but that was kind of the dark. I felt like an astronaut on the dark side of the moon, waiting for that airplane to come and pick me up, and everything is in Spanish. So my remedial Spanish did eventually get me on a plane, where I hooked up with you and the rest of the doctors. But yeah, I think travel is my thing now. I really enjoy it.
Well, the other thing that we're looking forward to, and I'm hoping that we get it, is this. The USDA Rural Utilities Services has a distance learning and telemedicine grant, hard to say, so they call it the USDA RUS DLT, and where we're looking at really training people in the Marianas Islands. And what I see here is between the front office, the back office, what happens in with the studio itself, that we have the ability to teach presenters, be it the medical assistants or back office people, how to present a telemedicine case thousands of miles away. And that the entire, everything you've just talked about for 37 years in terms of networking and bringing computers together and keeping them repaired in high humidity environments, that we have that opportunity to bring that all together. And I'm really hoping that the USDA is intelligent enough to recognize what happens here.
I do remember a few years ago, you had a patient, you and Dr. Starr, and he was in, I believe, the Honduran jungle. Mm-hmm. He had come out to the States and had a cleft palate surgery, and it was one of my first forays into video conferencing. I remember that we reached out to him in the jungle, and Dr. Starr, his surgeon, and another doctor, his speech pathologist, were here at Ventura Adult and Continuing Education, and we actually performed a checkup in the Honduran jungle and our classroom here. So there are some wonderful things that we can do with technology, video and graphics, yeah, even in the way of medical trainings from anywhere around the world. And I'll tell you what, with my video know-how and your doctor know-how, I think it's the perfect team.
Yes, I think so as well. So then, of course, famous people have come through here, but we'll let that run underneath us. So Ventura, we've got people filled with passion who want to capture things with on camera, but you have the opportunity here at VACE to really learn these skills yourself. So Ventura, it's time for you to get moving to Ventura Adult Community Education, and I do highly recommend Marie, preferably at your wedding and not your funeral.